What's going on, guys? Dan Watson. I did want to show you this test I had with the Sony A9 and the MC-11 adapter with the Sigma 135 f1.8 Art lens. And this is absolutely an amazing lens. I'll have a full review on this coming up soon, some cool photo shoots coming up. And so definitely subscribe, take a look at Instagram and Facebook, follow me at Learning Cameras there. I'm posting a lot of pictures of this kind of stuff over there. So that's a main place to follow me. But I want to go ahead and show you this with the Sony A9. And the MC-11 adapter is specifically for Sigma lenses. Most people use Canon lenses as well, but Canon, or Sigma itself, has really recommended only using Sigma lenses. I don't know how legit that is, but yeah, I'm going to show it off with this Sigma lens. So I've had a bunch of people ask me about this, so I promised my daughter some ice cream. She helped me out with this one, and she did a great job. So basically, this lens I started out shooting wide just to see if it focused, and overall it was pretty hit and miss. Sometimes it would give a false positive, and it really wasn't focused, but I got a green light. And so kind of a negative experience. Every so often it pulled it off. When it did, it was a great experience, but for the times that it didn't, it was really, really rough, extremely hit and miss. So next I switched to single point, and I will say it was more successful at locating the right aspect, obviously because it was searching within a single point, but it was also very hit and miss. Sometimes it was giving me that false positive again. Now, I will say the second time I would try and focus, it was almost 100%. So it was only that first time that I would hit the shutter button after going out of focus and trying to hit the shutter button to focus that it would sometimes give me that false positive or just not focus altogether. But again, sometimes it did work, and when it did, it was solid. It's a little clunky, but it did focus reasonably fast when it did focus successfully. Now in tracking, this is actually where it kind of performed the best, and I was really surprised, but it did seem to track her no problem as she was moving towards the camera. The A9 has one of the best tracking systems I've ever used on any camera, and so overall it seemed to perform pretty well in this test. Now eye autofocus also works pretty well. It's not nearly as good as when using a Sony lens. It was very particular about how she would look at the camera, how big her eyes were, but occasionally it would pick it up, and it would pick it up successfully. It was pretty good about locating her face in general. It was just the eyes that it sometimes had issues seeing. Now she's about 10-11 feet away in this test, which is well within the focus specifications of this lens, so it just was not nearly as good as Sony lenses, which have been performing extremely well when using the eye autofocus. So overall, it just wasn't an experience that I was really happy with. It was just very, very hit and miss. I would not recommend this lens going with this camera. Now if you're a Sony user, you do have some other options that are a little bit more expensive, but I would highly recommend that. And it's not that this is a bad lens at all. It's going to be a great lens, but just using it with the Sony A9 would not be my first choice. It works, but barely, and it's just not the experience that is really what you can get out of the Sony A9. So again, take a look at the description below. I got links to all of this stuff so you can see the setup that I had, but stay tuned for a whole lot more stuff on the A9 and then also the Sigma lens. So thanks for watching.